Hey everyone, welcome to our Oscar prediction extravaganza. We're here with Rebecca,
Steven,
and Dan.
Woo! We got some predictions here. We're gonna go through it and we're gonna talk a little bit about our opinions.
if you care.
They probably don't, but whatever. Do you want me to start with documentary? The nominees are 13th, Fire at Sea, I'm Not Your Negro, Life Animated, and OJ, Made in America. The only one I haven't seen is Fire at Sea, and I don't think that has a chance of winning, so I'll watch it eventually. But the one I think is going to win, and also I think it deserves to win because it's a great film and probably the most relevant film of 2016. Like if I had to choose one that like best encapsulated the year, it would be that, and that's OJ Made in America.
Right.
So of all these, I would say watch this. It's 5 hours. Whoa. It's a grand epic, but it's a fantastic film. And I will say, it's so good, it almost makes you feel bad for OJ.
Damn.
Wow.
You know a movie is freaking good when the villain you start feeling empathy for. That's
Especially when
good
the villain
stuff.
is a glass of orange juice.
In the category original song, we have Audition, The Fools Who Dream from La La Land, of course. We have Can't Stop the Feeling. You know, you've heard that song on the radio like a million times
Which
last
film
year.
is that from again?
I believe it's from Trolls.
Ugh, okay. I haven't seen it, but I heard it's really not good.
Steve's other girlfriend is in that movie.
Anna Kendrick.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then City of Stars from La La Land. The Empty Chair, which I'm not sure which film is that from. And then How Far I'll Go from Moana, and I freaking love that song. But my money is on City of Stars from La La Land. This was not my favorite song from La La Land, and I actually would rather Audition. The Fools Who Dream was a freaking amazing song. I would rather that one win, but I have a hunch that it's gonna be City of Stars. Seems to be the favorite.
Yeah, I also agree City of Stars is probably going to take this home, and I actually think it was probably the worst song that I thought of La La Land. Wasn't really pleasant to listen to by my ears.
Oh, shoot. Oh!
So I would also go with either Audition, The Fools Who Dream, or How Far I'll Go from Moana if I was to pick the winner, but I won't. So if you're betting, I would bet on City of Stars to take that one home.
We're 3 for 3 because I also chose City of Stars as well.
Yep.
And it's really the only song from La La Land that I remember that I can sing
Wow.
and do the beat. I don't know, I just found the whole musical unmemorable, but I think it's because this song was like played in the trailer so much that I got stuck in my head, whereas every other song I just heard once and it kind of escaped me.
I thought the song was okay. I didn't actually really find it memorable until Emma Stone starts singing it with Ryan Gosling's character.
Original score, I think the safe bet is La La Land since musical.
Does anyone object to it winning?
My personal pick would actually be Jackie because it's so like bizarre and I think it kind of fits the tone of the movie and what it's going for.
It's an interesting pick. It does have
Interesting.
an interesting score, but I would go with La La Land.
It's tricky because I actually really liked the score in Moonlight. I think probably the most. So I guess that would be my pick. But we all know it's going to La La Land.
All right, next up, cinematography. I think what's going to win here is La La Land. I'm not as sure about this as the musicals, but I think it did a really good job of creating that Hollywood atmosphere, very colorful. It really, was eye-opening. I think that would be my pick also. I do want to give a little props to Lion. I thought they also did a good job of creating the scene in that movie of the child who was lost. I thought, a lot of the scenery was beautiful in that movie, but I do think just the spectacular Hollywood scene created in La La Land is going to take home the prize, and yeah.
I actually think it might go to Moonlight just because I feel like a lot of the voters might view that as more serious cinematography, whereas La La Land's very like whimsical. So
Like
I think
fun. True.
Exactly. So I think on that basis they might go over Moonlight. But if I was gonna vote, I would actually give it to Silence. I mean, I have problems with it, but it really was the one film from this year you should have seen on a big screen. It's
Really?
an epic in every sense of the word.
I will
It's very
definitely check it out.
sweeping.
I do.
It's a shame it didn't get more attention, but
Right.
cinematography was definitely the highlight.
Yeah,
so.
it is missing in a lot of categories.
I know there
Some
were-
people thought it might end up in Best Picture or stuff like that. But,
And obviously director, you would think that Scorsese would be nominated, but not
Or
this
even
year.
like Liam Neeson for Best Supporting Actor or something
Yeah.
like that. Yeah.
Just to clear the air, we're not going through every single category. If you want to see what we thought in each category. In the description, you'll see our prediction for everything, but we're just going to go over some of the heavy hitters in this video. For adapted screenplay, we have Arrival, Fences, Hidden Figures, Lion, and Moonlight. And I feel this is going to go to Moonlight, and Moonlight would also be my pick. I really liked the way this was structured. I don't know, I never read the screenplay itself, but the way it unfolded I thought was very beautiful, very poetic, and I haven't read the original play either, but I really liked what they did with it, and I think it'll go to Moonlight.
I also think it will go to Moonlight, but I think my personal pick would probably be Lion for this one, just because I thought they did a really nice job of telling that story, and it was based on a true story. And I think, you know, at the end they showed the real people after they showed you the movie with all the actors in it.
I'm actually going with Fences. I think the Academy, because August Wilson passed away several years ago, so I think the Academy won't be able to resist giving him a posthumous award. And I don't really know the backstory too much of the making of the film, but I think he was trying to get it adapted for quite some time, but he never got the chance to in his lifetime, and then Denzel of Washington eventually picked it up. So that's what I'm placing my bet on. Even though I think Moonlight deserves it more, that would be my personal pick. But
I loved me some Fences, I did. But I thought Moonlight did a better job as a film, adapting into a film. Fences was very much true to the play form, which I'm not complaining. I loved it. I think some people might not vote in favor of that, but I loved Fences.
Okay, original screenplay. The nominees are 20th Century Woman, Hell or High Water, La La Land, The Lobster, and Manchester by the Sea. And for this, it's got to be Manchester by the Sea. It's got a great dialogue, sort of interesting story. It's also like probably the favorite along with Moonlight and La La Land, so it's really like a safe choice for this category. As far as what I would personally choose, and this is actually my favorite movie of the year here that I'm choosing, it's The Lobster.
Oh.
Have you seen it?
No, not yet.
You really need to. It's great. And I mean, it's definitely the most original movie of the year, and the award's original screenplay, so.
I will definitely check it out. What do you think, Steve?
I think La La Land is going to win this category. I know it's favored in a lot of other categories, and people kind of got upset at the Globes when it kind of took home so many awards, but I just have a feeling it's going to be one of those years where one movie is going to take a bunch of it, and I think in this case it's going to be La La Land. If something else is going to win in this category, I would agree with Manchester by the Sea. That's what else I could see it, because the three front runners are La La Land, Manchester by the Sea, and Moonlight. So if something is going to beat out La La Land, I would say it would be Manchester by the Sea.
See, I'm kind of like leaning towards La La Land as well, but I think Manchester by the Sea, I guess, is more dialogue heavy and more about plot, and La La Land is very much like homages, and it's just about the feeling and the music, so that's why I think they're going to go more along the lines of Manchester.
Yeah. I haven't seen Manchester by the Sea yet, but from what I've been hearing, I also think that this award will go there. La La Land as a script, it was good, but I don't think the script itself is good enough to win this award, just my opinion.
Moving on to animated features, we have Kubo and the Two Strings, Moana, My Life as a Zucchini, The Red Turtle, and Zootopia. I think Zootopia is going to take this one home. It's been doing really well in the other award shows so far this year, and I think it has like a very strong message that's like not just your regular animated film. It kind of speaks outside the box for like what's happening in society nowadays, and I think that's something that is going to play up to the people, to the Academy picking the awards. I did like Zootopia a lot. I think in terms of just general enjoyment out of the movie, I might go with Moana, but in terms of like importance of a movie, I would say Zootopia would be deserving of this award.
I'm curious why you like Moana more than Zootopia.
Just general like enjoyment out of it. I mean, I think Zootopia was a better overall film, but I guess personally when I look at animated movies, I like little fun songs and everything. So I guess that's...
So basically you like kind of like the Disney neatness to
Yeah, I like
Moana.
the neatness. That would be an accurate description of it. I like the neatness of, you know, cute little song and then
It's a very it's a very beautiful film, but I mean, I feel like Frozen just won, so I think they're a little like Disney princess fatigued. So
That could be true.
go with.
And I do think, like we both said, like the like just the importance of the film outside of the animation. It has a lot of metaphorical things about society.
I should mention that Kubo's been getting a lot of awards as well, so there's a good chance that it might upset Zootopia. My money's still on Zootopia, but
Yeah, I do think
don't be surprised if Kubo takes
I think
it.
it's down to those two as to the ones that will win, Kubo and Zootopia probably.
Also, we're not talking about
Kubo.
this specific award, but I think it deserves Best Visual Effects, Kubo and the Two Strings. Like, if we were voting for that, I would give that to Kubo.
In film editing, I find this one tricky. Well, I haven't seen, first of all, the nominees are Arrival, Hacksaw Ridge, Hell or High Water, La La Land, and Moonlight. And I haven't seen Arrival, Hacksaw Ridge, or Hell or High Water. I've only seen La La Land and Moonlight. I think it would go to La La Land, but I'm not sure because I haven't seen those other three. I don't think Moonlight did anything that was really amazing with the editing from what I remember, but La La Land had some cool cuts. I don't know, but maybe not. I really would have to see those other three films. What do you guys think?
This was a tough one for me to choose as well. I kind of going with Arrival just because it's this big sci-fi and I don't know, it seems like the type of movie that they would give editing to.
It does.
Especially, you haven't seen it, right?
Not yet.
It works very much with time too, like even more so than Moonlight, so I feel like that's another reason why they would give it the award.
I'm gonna
That's a good guess.
I'm gonna go with Moonlight.
You gonna go with Moonlight?
Yeah, not sure why. I thought it did do a pretty good job editing. I didn't think there was anything like spectacular about it, but I thought like the pacing of the movie and the way the scenes cut at like the right times. I thought they did a good
I love
job
how you're
with it.
giving it the award just because it did a decent job. You know?
Yeah, that's all it takes to win an Oscar around here. These parts.
Tell
Just
me
gotta
about it.
just gotta do all right.
Well, from what I've seen in previous years, it seems like that award usually goes to like really fast-paced editing type films.
So, do you think it might go to Hacksaw Ridge just because
that
since it's a
fast-paced?
war? I haven't seen it, but I mean it's a war film, so obviously it's got to have some like kinetic
It's
energy
possible
to
then. It's possible if that. I think they tend to lean towards those really like actiony, like fast-paced.
I'm surprised Hell or High Water got a nomination because it's very standard filmmaking and editing. Yeah, I don't know.
Maybe they do something artsy with it. I'll have to check it out.
No, not really. Now we're up to actress in a supporting role. We're getting to the heavy hitters here, the awards people actually care about. The nominees are Viola Davis in Fences, Naomi Harris in Moonlight, Nicole Kidman in Lion, Octavia Spencer in Hidden Figures, and Michelle Williams in Manchester by the Sea. And I should point out that of all the award categories, this is definitely the 100% most locked.
I think so.
If you vote for anyone else, please expect to lose your money.
Leave the studio.
Okay, I'm gonna have to say there's someone else I'd rather give the award to.
Oh!
I mean, no offense to them. I thought Naomi Harris did a great job in Moonlight. Nicole Kidman was good in Lion, but I think Viola Davis was a showstopper in Fences, and I think she has it locked up.
There was snot coming out of her nose, people.
I should mention that.
That is dedication.
I should mention that I read Armin White's review of the film, and he kind of ruined that performance for me by just saying like, "Oh, Viola Davis is just doing her typical snot bubble thing."
Oh, come on. When did she do
That
that?
isn't the first time she's done that. I should mention.
When did she done that?
Doubt.
Oh, I haven't seen Doubt. She didn't do it in The Help, right?
I don't think so. There's definitely a few others that I can't think of that she has done it in, but this isn't the first time she's done that. And I should also mention, you didn't see American Honey, right?
No.
Shia LaBeouf does the snot bubble thing too, and I found it more impressive than Viola Davis's
So
snot
you
bubble.
heard it here first. Shia LaBeouf wins the award for best snot.
I think
bubble
we
of the year.
need a side-by-side snot bubble right now.
Well, I've been standing with you 18 years of my life to stand in the same spot as you.
I really
Who do you think won? Tell us in the comments.
I would give it to Michelle Williams in Manchester by the Sea, mainly because the award is actress in a supporting role. And Michelle Williams does what every great actress in a supporting role should do. She's in a few scenes. Her last scene, she gives a powerhouse performance, and then she leaves, and that's it. Whereas Viola Davis, it's kind of like a lead that they just snuck into the supporting role
Yeah.
just so she's more likely
That's
to
true.
get the
She
award.
did have a lead feel.
They do tend to do that.
It's
Like,
not as bad as when they did it with Rooney Mara
Right.
and
That was
Taro.
horrible.
That was freaking ridiculous.
Also,
and I got a bone to pick in the next category,
Also,
which we'll get to.
Alicia Vikander in The Danish Girl, which she ended up winning for, even though she arguably has more scenes than any Redmayne. And also, Haley Steinfeld from True Grit. She was the lead, remember?
Yeah.
And she got nominated for actress in a supporting role.
I
And
hate when they do that. It's
I mean,
politics.
in that case, everyone was just like, "Oh, she's a kid. That's why they gave her
Yeah,
supporting."
and
But
they
these are
did-
adults here.
They did
that
this
they're-
last year with Room with Jacob Tremblay. I think
Right.
was he nominated for supporting?
Yeah, but he's a kid.
He's
like,
a child,
kinda-
but that's a lead role.
Yeah, but at least there's like precedent for like giving kid lead roles into supporting. But when you do it to adults,
But to
there's like
me,
no
like-
excuse.
To me, like the amount of minutes he had in that movie, Jacob Tremblay in Room last year, it was just he was a lead actor. Like the only difference was that he was a child.
Oh, since you mentioned Jacob Tremblay, he was actually in Smurfs 2, and he gives one of the worst performances ever. Yet he's great in Room. I don't know what happened.
Just shattered me so much today. First the snot bubble, now little Jacob.
No, he's great in Room, but like he was in Smurfs 2 like a few years prior, and he's awful in that.
He was just a little baby. He had to grow up.
See if I can pronounce this. Mahershala Ali. for
They're gonna
Moonlight.
obliterate you in the comments if you get it wrong.
Yeah, I know. Jeff Bridges, Hell or High Water. Lucas Hedges, Manchester by the Sea. Dev Patel, Lion. And Michael Shannon, Nocturnal Animals. I think Mahershala
Mahershala Ali.
Mahershala Ali.
Mahershala Ali is going to take this one home. I feel pretty strongly about this. Not as strongly as Viola Davis, but I think pretty confidently that he's going to win. And I think he does deserve to win. I thought for his part in Moonlight, he gave a really powerhouse performance. He, started out the movie. He kind of is like he leads you into the movie before you even get introduced to the main character and kind of like creates the atmosphere for the whole movie. And I think that he does a really good job in doing that. He's sort of like a father figure, but he like really kind to the boy he's mentoring, but he also has like this intimidation factor, being like a drug dealer, and I thought he did a good job of meshing those two personalities together. I'm also going to give props to Dev Patel, even though I don't think he was a supporting actor
I'll get
in
to
this movie, but he would be my second choice, and I just wanted to give him some credit for that, but I think Ali is gonna take it.
I agree. Definitely gonna go to Mahershala Ali, I think. I hope, because I would give it to him. I love Dev Patel in Lion, but why is he nominated for supporting actor? That is a lead role.
I like in your ballot, you just have question marks and what?
I
And next
literally,
one,
I just
exclamation
saw
mark.
this, like I knew these nominees when they came out, but today it just dawned on me that Dev Patel was nominated for supporting role, and I'm like, what? I don't know what you do in Academy.
He is the
Playing
lead,
games.
right? I haven't seen it.
Yeah.
He's as much as a lead as
Well, it
anyone.
starts off with him as a child, and then him as a grown man, similarly to what was done in Moonlight, and that's the lead role. I don't know.
Okay. I think we're 3 for 3 because I'm Mahershala Ali too. Especially with his SAG Award win and his great speech, I think the edge is going to go to him. But if I personally had to choose, I would actually go Michael Shannon in Nocturnal Animals. You haven't seen it, right? Okay, I just love Michael Shannon so much, and he's so great in it. Just give him the award. That's kind of my reasoning. Nothing
Good
more
reasons.
in depth than that. Just come on, it's Michael Shannon. Who doesn't love him? He was nominated once before for Revolutionary Road, but he ended up losing to Heath Ledger in The Dark Knight.
Oh, I remember that movie.
2008, yeah.
Yeah. Now we have actress in a leading role. There's a lot of chatter about this one. We have Isabelle Huppert in Elle, French film. We have Ruth Negga in Loving.
You're trying your best not to mispronounce it.
I'm trying very hard. Natalie Portman in Jackie. Emma Stone in La La Land, and the obligatory nomination to Meryl Streep for Florence Foster Jenkins.
Who most likely beat out Amy Adams in Arrival for that 5th spot. Well, they accidentally said Amy Adams.
Yeah.
I heard.
First-
They said Amy Adams.
That's just
Telecast, yeah.
savage.
And they also did that with who else? Tom Hanks?
Tom Hanks and
yeah, Tom
Sully.
Hanks. Yeah.
They pulled a Steve
Tom
Harvey.
Hanks I don't care as much about because, he has enough Oscars, but Amy
Amy Adams
Adams,
never
she's
got
like
one.
one of the best actresses today.
And she never got
She hasn't
one.
won. She's been nominated a bunch of times,
Yeah,
but she
she's the
hasn't
new
won one.
Leo for women.
I guess so, yeah.
Maybe.
Now that I think about it.
Maybe.
Yeah.
But I think it's gonna go to Emma Stone. This is, I don't know if this is really the kind of role that this award usually goes to, but I don't know, I really liked her performance in La La Land, and I really felt her character. I had great empathy for her, and yeah, I thought it was great. I think it'll go to her, but I also heard great things about Isabelle Huppert in Elle, so I still have to check that out. If it went to her, that would be great as well.
You really need to see it. Since I've actually...
I love the premise of that.
You two really need to see it, but going off on that, I actually do think she might win, and she deserves to win. I haven't seen Streep and Florence Foster Jenkins, but I'm sure it's just Streep being Streep. But Huppert in that film, it's just so fearless and such a bold performance. I don't know if you know the backstory, but the director actually wanted to make it in America, but he couldn't find an American actress who was either right for the role or who wanted to do the role.
Wow.
Supposedly he asked Nicole Kidman, and then she read the script and just said, "Fuck you, Paul."
Whoa, Nicole!
So he went over to France, even though he doesn't speak French, and he got Huppert in the role, and it's perfect casting.
Wow.
And she really is one of the best actresses of our time, and it's about time the Academy recognizes her.
Wow. Get
And
your
also she
eyes.
won the Golden Globes, so that's why I'm like more confident that she'll win the Oscar, because you're like, oh, if the Golden Globes can recognize this performance, why can't the Academy?
Good point. Good
I
point.
do think Isabelle has a chance, but I think Emma Stone is going to take it. I just think that the Academy, this is like going to be like her breaking out party, sort of like how Jennifer Lawrence won a few years ago for
Or
Silverlight.
Brie Larson.
Or Brie Larson won last year. I just think they're going to try to award this young American actress who they're going to give an award to, and then she's going to be great for the next few years, or that's what their plan is going to be. I thought she did a really good job in the role, and she'd be deserving of it. My personal pick would be Natalie Portman. I thought she did a really good job portraying Jackie. There's a lot of different personas to her character, I guess the right word would be. She goes from being normal to being crazy to being like distraught to being vindictive. I thought there were a lot of layers to her.
I thought she was everything at once.
Kind of. I thought there was a lot of layers to her. I thought she did a really good job, so I would give it to Natalie Portman, but I think Emma's gonna win it.
Yeah, if it wasn't for Huppert, I would actually give it to Natalie Portman. And a lot of people have kind of like, I don't know, dismissed her performance, like, oh, it's just an impression. I think it's more than an impression. There is a lot of soul.
I know
in
she did her
performance.
research for it.
Yeah.
I believe her. So I guess we'll see.
All right, Best Actor in a Leading Role. Now the nominees for this category are Casey Affleck in Manchester by the Sea, Andrew Garfield in Hacksaw Ridge, Ryan Gosling in La La Land, Viggo Mortensen in Captain Fantastic, and Denzel Washington in Fences. Now, who's probably going to win is also who I 100% think should win, and it's Casey Affleck in Manchester by the Sea. I know you haven't seen it,
Haven't
Rebecca.
seen it
You
yet.
haven't seen it.
From what I've heard, it seems to be going that way. I would love to see Denzel Washington win for Fences because I thought he knocked it out of the park with that one. But I don't know. I also feel it's going to go to Casey Affleck, but I still have to see Manchester by the Sea.
It's kind of torn between those two.
Right.
I guess it's all about taste. With
Right.
Denzel, it's very like showy, very theatrical, very loud, whereas Casey Affleck is very method acting, very quiet, more about like what you don't hear. And he really embodies the character.
Wow.
Like, of all these nominees, he's the only one, like, I can't imagine anyone else playing that role. Like, the other four, I can, like, pinpoint, like, other actors who might be able to give just as good a performance, but Casey Affleck, it was just really made for him. And supposedly, I heard about, like, the production history, like, Matt Damon was originally supposed to play the part, and
Ugh.
also John
Sorry,
Krasinski. But if one of those two ended up being the part, the film would have just been a disaster. With Casey Affleck, he really sets the tone for the movie.
I think that they're going to give it to Denzel, and I think it has less to do with the performances and more to do with, I think the Academy is going to fear backlash if they give it to Casey. They already have been getting some backlash from other actors about his sexual assault allegations. Now, whatever, however you feel about that, if you like to separate the artist and their performance from their personal lives, then obviously you don't have a problem giving it to Casey, but I feel like
Do Do you really think they're gonna?
I mean, in the
know.
SAGs, everybody thought he was gonna win the SAG, and then Denzel took home the SAG. I mean, I don't know if I agree with them taking away who they thought the best performance would be, but I think they're gonna give it to Denzel, and I mean, they would never admit that that's the reason why they gave it to him, but that's my own hunch that they're gonna give it to Denzel for that reason. And the reason I say that is just because of the SAGs that Denzel won, and I think that was a sign in the way the Oscars gonna go. I mean, I'm not sure about that. I could easily go to Casey Affleck, but I think that part of his personal life, whether people like it or not, it might tip the favor to Denzel.
Can't people just watch the movies and enjoy it for what it is? Like, I hate to
Some
be
people
that
can.
guy, but like an actor or director's personal life has never affected my enjoyment.
Right.
Of the
That's
work.
a gift. I have a hard time.
Oh,
Yeah.
you do? Okay.
Yeah.
So it really depends
But
on your
I will still
own-
see the film.
if your own personality, but I think Denzel is gonna win it. I mean, he did a great job, so. But it could go to Casey. I agree with Dan that I don't think any of the others could possibly win it. I would be shocked if anyone else won.
Well,
Besides those
a
two.
friend of mine actually suggested that maybe Casey Affleck and Denzel Washington would like split the vote, and that would open up Ryan Gosling, which is a similar scenario kind of happened in 2002
Interesting.
when it was expected to either be Jack Nicholson or Daniel Day-Lewis. Those were the two leads, and it ended up splitting the vote, and Adrian Brody won, and no one saw that coming.
Oh, was that
For
for the
wh-
pianist, or
Yeah,
for the pianist?
and he ended up being the youngest lead actor ever to win.
Wow.
I guess that'd be a possibility. I mean, I think it would be kind of sucky if Ryan Gosling won. No offense to Ryan Gosling, but I just don't think it was like a great.
I love Ryan Gosling, but I don't see it
I
either.
just don't think it was like a great show-stopping like lead role winning performance.
For what it was, like he was great. I wouldn't say that like we needed
Right.
more out
I
of
would-
that role, but
I would
the
say
way it
that's
was
more-
written, it wasn't written to be
I would say that's
that.
more Emma Stone's
I feel.
movie than Ryan Gosling's
Yeah.
movie. It felt like more of an,
Oh
an
yeah.
Emma Stone movie.
Good grief.
Next on to Best Director, we have Damien Chazelle from La La Land, Mel Gibson for Hacksaw Ridge, Barry Jenkins for Moonlight, Kenneth Larnagin for Manchester by the Sea, and Denis Villeneuve for Arrival. This was a kind of a tough one for me. I went back and forth between Barry and Damien, but I think they are going to give it to Damien for La La Land. I just, like I said before, I just think that this is going to be one of those years where they're going to be giving a lot of awards to the same movie, and I think that movie is going to be La La Land. I know people go back and forth for Best Picture, and we'll get to that in a little bit, between La La Land and Moonlight, but I think that La La Land's going to ride the hype. I know there's some hate coming out for it, and that usually happens with a lot of Best Picture nominees, but I think that they're going to give it to Damien, but I wouldn't be surprised if they did give it to Barry Jenkins, and both would be deserving.
On
of
that
the award, I
note,
think.
with those two choices, they would both be sort of record-breaking director wins. Barry Jenkins is the obvious, who would be the first African-American director to win the award, but Damien Chazelle, if he wins, will become the youngest director ever to
Wow,
win.
that's
A
special.
record long held by Norman Taurog for the movie Skippy, a
And
film
how-
everyone actively talks about,
How old was he when he won? Do you
Norman
know?
Taurog was 32 going on like 33, whereas Damien Chazelle just turned 32, so it's a case of he just made it for
Right.
breaking the record.
I think this is Damien Chazelle's year.
I'm actually going with Barry Jenkins, and I really can't explain why. I mean, I guess it goes along the line of who I think is going to win Best Picture, and I mean, my head is telling me La La Land, but my gut is telling me Moonlight. I think it's because there's been so much like recent backlash towards La La Land because it's so universally loved, and I think that's what's going to cost it the Oscar win. Like a similar situation happened with Boyhood. Everyone loved it, and everyone thought that was going to win. But then, like the month prior to the Oscars, everyone was like openly talking online about how overrated it was and how much of a gimmick and how it's not as great as everyone says it is. And I think La La Land's going through a similar kind of scenario, and Boyhood ended up losing to Birdman, so that's why my gut is telling me La La Land might lose to Moonlight, and they'll also give the director Barry Jenkins the award because most of the time Best Picture and Best Director are together. Very rare. Well, even though the past few years they've sort of broken this, but rarely is it separate.
I like the suspense, like not knowing if it's going to be the same film or not. How about we all read the nominees for Best Picture, like an epic, like New
Each of
New
one
Year's
of
Eve,
us, yeah.
like an epic New Year's Eve
I'll
countdown.
So, who starts?
I'll start. Arrival,
Fences,
Hacksaw Ridge,
Hell or High Water,
Hidden Figures,
La La Land,
Lion,
Manchester by the Sea,
Moonlight.
and the Oscar goes to. What do you think?
It's most likely going to be La La Land, but like I said, my gut is kind of going with Moonlight, so I'm going to be the contrarian and say Moonlight. As far as like who I would personally give the award to, I should mention that I haven't seen Hidden Figures, Lion, or Hacksaw Ridge, but of the 6 that I have seen, only 2 I think are genuinely great, and they're Moonlight and Manchester by the Sea. And I'm having a tough time choosing which one I prefer more, so I'm kind of going to be neutral and say whichever one wins, I'll be happy about.
Oh. I feel like La La Land is the shoo-in for this, but I think it's going to go to Moonlight.
I know who you want to win.
That's tough.
Who would you like to see win?
I think for me it's between La La Land and Moonlight. I think I enjoyed those on an equal amount. I also really enjoyed Lion, but I don't know. I don't know about Best Picture, but I really enjoyed that movie. It's probably one of my favorites definitely one of my favorites from last year. But I think it's tough because La La Land, I have a video where I explain why there was something I really didn't like about La La
I
Land.
had a big rant about it, too.
Yeah. So go check that out if you're curious, and that's something that's really hindering
See,
me.
I actually didn't like the ending, but for a completely different reason. You haven't seen The Umbrella of Cherbourg, right?
No.
This famous like 60s French musical, but the ending is basically a homage to that ending, and I was just so distracted by, oh, they're doing Umbrellas of Cherbourg again.
I will have to
I
see
couldn't
that
get
movie.
into the emotion. You should. It's great.
I will have to see that.
My friend wrote a funny review that La La Land is basically if Kids Bop did Umbrellas of Cherbourg.
Oh wow, that's a real wow.
Well, I mean, the one precedent that La La Land has is that it's tied for most Oscar nominations
Right.
with Titanic and All About Eve, and those two
Right.
ended up winning Best Picture. So, I mean, like I said, logically, it's going to
But
win.
there had been some surprises in the last year. I feel like last year, I feel like people were thinking The Revenant might win.
Especially when
Yeah.
Inaritu won Best Director,
and,
but
and
then,
Spotlight ended up winning. So I mean,
Yeah.
I wouldn't be shocked if Moonlight won. I think that would be the one to.
or
beat
even
up.
if Barry Jenkins won Best Director. And La La
Right.
Land
Yeah, I
won
wouldn't be
Best Picture or something
shocked if
like
they
that.
split those two, and I wouldn't be shocked if Moonlight won Best Picture, and I wouldn't even be that upset. I would pick La La Land as out of these. That would be my pick. Also, I didn't love the ending, but it didn't like hinder me as much. There was some aspect of Moonlight that was missing in it that really annoyed me.
Yeah, check out our review if you're curious.
That really annoyed me. So that's why I would give the edge to La La Land. I didn't think either ending was great. I thought Lion had the best ending out of.
Oh, that was a freaking
out
beautiful
of the
ending.
movies I've seen, but in terms
Oh.
of the movie as a whole, I got the most enjoyment out of La La Land, so I would give it to La La Land. But Moonlight, obviously a very important film in this day and age with all the aspects of race relations and sexual orientation.
Well, I mean, it's not really a film about race relations.
Not
I
re-
mean,
no,
there
not exclu-
no
more
white
about
people have
sexual-
speaking roles.
right.
in it,
Right.
You know? I mean,
More
it's very
about-
much about race, but
Right,
it's not
more
like
about-
Do the Right Thing or something
more about
like
sexual
that.
orientation than.
I mean, I should say, I believe it's the first like openly gay movie. If
be
it does
nominated
win
for
to
Best
win best,
Picture?
if it does win for Best Picture, because
I think
remember
so.
everyone expected that with Brokeback Mountain, but that ended up losing to Crash. I mean, there are some people.
That was a big upset, I think, right?
Yeah, it was, because Crash is a terrible movie. Moonlight would also be the first, like, I guess, black-centered film. Like, you also
Right.
have 12 Years a Slave, but that's also very much about, like, the slave owner.
It's
and
like
what
it's
have
the
you.
expected role, unfortunately.
Exactly,
Yeah.
whereas Moonlight's much more progressive.
Yeah, like I always say this, like there are not enough movies with non-white characters on this level that Moonlight had, and I think it's important.
Yeah. So I wouldn't be upset if Moonlight won. I do think La La Land is going to win, but I guess we'll see on February 26th.
We shall see. So if you're curious about what we thought of the other categories, check out the description to see our predictions for that. And let us know what you think in the comments. And yeah, look forward to the Oscars and seeing what happens.
See ya.